Hey guys, how you doing today? Today we're going to be going over my UI. It's been requested I make a video on my UI and some of the aspects of it, so I thought I'd get that done for you guys. So the main aspect of my UI is built around a UI that was developed by somebody called Hydra. It's called Hydra Ui. That's HYDRA-UI. And as you can see, if you type HUI in chat, if you decide to get this UI, you have a lot of options here that you can go through, and you can change different aspects of it. The bars are done by Hydra Ui, all the little details here, like the quest log, are done by Hydra Ui. These chat box on the left is done by Hydra Ui, and lots of other little things. You've got like a rep bar up here, you'll have an XP bar underneath. So just have a play around with these settings. It can be a bit daunting at first, but once you get used to it, I find it very good. I used to use UI, but I moved away from that simply because I think it was a bit overwhelming, a bit too much. But nothing against UI. I think it's a beautiful UI, and the different styles you can make with UI is fantastic. It's just I wanted something a bit simpler, a bit more basic, and a bit less memory hogging. So I went with Hydra UI. You can type HUI and then move into your chat box, and that'll give you all the options for you to move. I have mine set out just how I like it now. Now the other aspects of my UI, so let me turn this off by tapping HUI move again. The other aspects of my UI come down to several different things. So first of all, I have my weak auras. Now everybody's aware of what weak auras are, I'm sure. If you're not, if you go to wago.io, you can find lots and lots of different weak auras there, and they do a load of different things. For example, I've got my Paladin weak aura here. It'll give me information about my Paladin, Holy Power, abilities down, cooldown, etc, etc. I've got a taunting one here that I use, so I know when taunts have been used, so I can coordinate mine with that. And I've got another one here, for example, which tells me when I have no files of serenity left as a Kyrian, and that'll pop up and it'll make a little sound. I have one for my mouse. I have a lot of weak auras, guys, for different classes, dungeons, raids, everything. And that's where I get the little circle, as you can see around my mouse. It's from a weak aura. So they're the two main aspects of this UI. So I've got Hydra UI, which does all the unit frames, and then I've got my weak auras, which does a lot of everything else. I've then got the basic stuff that everybody uses. So I've got my details damage meters down here, and healing meters. That's just basic. There's not really much to say about that. I also have method raid tools and mythic dungeon tools. So this mythic dungeon tools, this helps me with my tanking for roots, and then method raid tools is handy for making notes. As you can see, I've got some up here. These are actually wrong now, guys, so ignore this. This is just percentages that I like to write down for when I'm doing my mythic pluses. But it's got a lot of other useful information on your method raid tools, as you can see here, and it's a very, very handy add-on to have if you raid especially. We're going to go into the add-ons list, and we're going to have a look at all the different other little bits I have added to my UI. So I've got Addy bags, which is basically just a neater bag frame. We've got Angry Keystones, which is a keystone. It's when you do Mythic Pluses, it gives you a more detailed window for timers and stuff, and your percentages, people's deaths, etc. Auctionator, it's just an auction add-on. I just prefer it over the Blizzard basic one now. Even though Blizzard have improved theirs, I still prefer Auctionator. We've got Blizz Move. I use Blizz Move to change the well, first of all, so I can move Blizzard like things like the map. I forget what they're called now. Blizzard aspects of the UI, like the map, and it also lets me change the size of them. Yeah. Now this add-on is a fantastic add-on. I love this add-on. It's called Btw Loadouts, and basically what this does is it lets you set loadouts for all the your different scenarios, for your different classes, different specs and everything. So for example, I've got a few down here. If I want to switch to tank raid, first of all I'd go switch to Ventfur because I play Ventfur's tank raid, but then all I'll do is I click this button, it will change my action bars to everything I need for tank raiding. It will change my talons to everything I need for raiding. And it also changes my gear to my raiding gear. And now if I press go back to Tank Mythic Plus, as you might see if you keep your eye on the character sheet, it'll change my gear to my Mythic Plus gear, it'll change my talents to my Mythic Plus talents, and it changes my bars to my Mythic Plus bars. I can't recommend this add-on enough, guys. If you're somebody who switches between a lot of covenants, especially now that they've made it easy to swap, if you're somebody that switches between a lot of classes, you know, from Holy, Protection, or, you know, whatever your classes are, Havoc, Vengeance for Demon Hunters, or especially a Druid with 4 different classes, this is an absolute must-have add-on. It will make your life so much easier, and it'll make it so you don't forget things. Okay, moving on. We'll quickly go through some of these. Bug Grabber and Bug Sack is just basically something that grabs bugs. As you can see, I've got one now. It just stops it from popping up in the middle of my page. I can check them later to troubleshoot them. I've got Click, which I use along with Grid, and basically that lets me set up different quick action buttons, if you will. So if I want to bubble somebody in the party, I just press Control left click on the thing and it gives them a bubble. If I want to give them freedom, I press Alt left click, it gives them freedom. If I want to cast a Word of Glory on them, hold on, let me get some holy power for a Word of Glory. If I want to cast a Word of Glory on them, I Shift left click and give them a Word of Glory. I love it. I think it's a very good add-on to use. Crystal Sockets is just something that I use for my character sheet just to show more information. We've got Decursive, which I'm going to be removing soon because I've now got a weak aura which glows when people need to spell in. So I'm going to be removing Decursive, but I used to use Decursive to dispel. And then obviously we've got Details, Domination Socket Helper, another fantastic one. Lets you quickly, I'm in combat so I can't do it, it's going to be a second, get out of combat guys. So Domination Socket Helper is another very, very useful add-on at the minute with your Domination Sockets. So it lets you quickly remove by clicking this, and then you can click any of your Domination Sockets to quickly put it back in. Of course, with this you need this item, the Solidified Chisel, which you buy in Courtier for I think it's 1,000 Stygia. And yeah, it just makes it much, much simpler for swapping your Domination Sockets, which is unfortunately is something that Btw Loadouts can't do because it's not an automated process, you have to do it yourself. So Domination Socket Helper is definitely useful for that. Extra missions for Venture Plan, that's just Venture Plan, it's something to help with your mission table. Friends Groups is just something I use for putting groups together for friends. Gladius is if I ever do Arena, which I'm probably going to get rid of because I just simply don't PvP anymore. Like I said, I've got Grid. GTFO, it's a handy add-on, but it's a very annoying add-on which screams at you basically whenever you're standing in bad stuff. It's handy if you're forgetting that you're standing in something bad, but if you know, if you're like doing something where you know you can stand in something bad, it'll keep shouting at you even though you know you can stand in it. So we've got Handy Notes, which is an add-on which basically gives you information on your map for where rares are, treasures, etc, etc. We have Maze Helper, which is for the Miss Maze. That's just something that helps you get through the maze a bit quicker and a bit simpler. There is a better add-on than this that people use, which basically after the first three, after you solve the first three, it tells you where you need to go next. But I like to keep this anyway, just in case I need to use it. I've told you about Method Raid Tools. Move Anything is an awesome add-on, which basically lets you move absolutely anything on your UI. You search what you want to, so raid frames, you can click move and you can move it. It's really, really good. It's handy for like Blizzard stock stuff that you can't usually move. That helps you move them as well. So if the other one can't do it, Blizz Move. Okay, let's keep going. Mythic Dungeon Tools, I explained that one. That's for very good for tanks, mostly for doing pulls and stuff and routes in Mythic Plus. And then we've got OmniCC. This is just basically a countdown counter for when I use my abilities. So let's say I use my bubble, and it puts a counter over my bar. Pawn is something I don't really use anymore. I don't really pay attention to what Pawn tells me, but it's still a good add-on to have. It will tell you if something is likely to be an upgrade for you. Like here, if you can see at the bottom, it says protection plus 7% upgrade. However, I don't really rely on it, and I use my own better judgment for it, but it is good as a baseline. To see where we go. Personal Loot Helper. A lot of people use this mostly for when they're doing pugs or if they're doing LFR and they get a piece of loot and they can ask for it. You know, somebody else gets a piece of loot, or tell them this person's got a piece of loot. It's potentially an upgrade for you and not an upgrade for them. And then you can whisper them. I use it so that when I get loot in dungeons or raids, I can see who might need that most. So if I have, let's for example, I get a weapon and there's 2 people who need it, and it's a 246 weapon, and let's say person number 1 has got a 239 weapon and person number 2's only got a 210 weapon. Now I will probably still roll it out, to be fair, but I might consider giving it to the person who's got the 210 weapon, because clearly that's a massive upgrade for them. It's just something I like to keep an eye on so I can see where people are. Plater is my unit frames. My nameplates, which I use for nameplates. Another fantastic add-on, very configurable. It does these nameplates for me. If you watch my stream, you can see in Mythic Plus Dungeons, I have the nameplate set so certain mobs have different colours, so I know which ones I need to focus on and interrupt. Pre-made groups filter. Now this one, again, another fantastic add-on. When you're looking for a group, you can turn this on and you can set a lot of different settings, what you want to look for. So you can take tanks and heals off. You can put DPS to a certain amount and it will configure it to that. Sorry guys, I know I'm probably rambling here, but I just want to get through these add-ons quick for you. HydraUI, I'm sure everybody knows what HydraUI is. It just, as you can see on my tooltip here, it brings up your HydraUI. It brings up other people's HydraUIs as well. So it's just a handy little thing. Saved instances tells me what I'm saved to. It helps me keep track of my ults, the Renown, Stygia, Soul Ash, Soul Embers, Cinder, sorry, Stygian Embers, Valor, all that stuff. I can keep a track of who's done what keys this week, what keys they've got, etc. It's a fantastic add-on. Simulationcraft is an add-on which all it's really used for is type in /simc in chat, and oh, okay, I'm getting errors at the minute. Let's try that again. No, so that's a bit buggy at the minute, so we'll have to fix that. I'll fix that later. But basically, you type /simc, you get a lot of stuff to copy paste. You put it in a Simulationcraft website, and it lets you sim your character to see what kind of DPS you should be doing. It's mostly used for DPS. Venture Plan, I explained that before. That's part of the other add-on. That's just basically something for your mission table. And then we've got Wago App Companion. This is for updating your week auras, keeping them up to date. Week auras, as I explained. What's your covenant? What's your covenant will put a little, if you look on the tooltip again, a little extra line that says covenant, and it'll tell you what covenant people are playing. I try hovering over someone. I'm not sure if it does it for everybody or if they have to be in your group. I think they have to be in your group. Oh no. So there we've got one there, Kyrian. So obviously we're in the Kyrian area, so these are all going to be Kyrian. But you hover over it and it tells you who they are. It is a bit buggy at the minute since they changed. Being able to switch covenants easily, but for the most part it does work fine. World quest list, simple enough. Brings up a world quest list when you're on the map, so you can see what kind of stuff you want to go and aim for. If you're after gold, you can see where they all are. Anima, you can see where they all are. X-Loot is just a frame that I have just to make my looting a bit cleaner. I can see what people loot and stuff. And then obviously we've got the basic, the main UI aspect, which is Hydra UI, Deadly Boss Mods, which I'm sure you all know what is. Deadly Boss Mods, if you don't know for some reason, is one of the main mods to use for when you're raiding. It'll tell you when things are happening, when to move out of things, etc, etc. And then we've got Deja character stats, final one, which is basically an improved character frame. I know that was overwhelming, guys. I'm really sorry. I wanted to get through quickly. I wanted to do just a quick explanation of my UI. I moved things around a lot. If you decide to get Hydra UI, you will see it's not in the same place as mine. I've moved all mine a lot. I've done a lot of work on my UI to make it how I like it. So if you do get your Hydra UI, you might want to change things around, especially if you like the look of mine and you want it to look the same. If you've got any questions about my UI, if you've got any questions about any specific add-ons, let me know. Again, I can do a follow-up video with certain specific add-ons. I know a few of them are a bit more daunting than just simply downloading, installing, and it's done. It's not quite like that. But if you do have any questions, just let me know in the comment section, guys. And that's pretty much it for this video. It's a quick one, it's a short one, well, relatively short. It's basically all about my UI, and that's all it is. If you enjoyed it, guys, like it, give us a subscribe, so you can catch my future videos. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch, guys. The link is in the description. We have plenty of fun on there doing keys, heroic viewer runs, Sylvanas heroic kills. We have a great time, and you should definitely join in, guys. Next video, I think, is going to be about leveling from 50 to 60. I'm not sure yet. I might do one about tanking for Protection Paladins in Mythic Plus. Let me know, guys, what would you like me to do, and we'll get on it. I'm getting a cam soon as well, so I might start putting my my mug on these videos. But other than that, guys, until next time, catch you later. Goodbye.